Welcome to my YouTube channel where we do everything entertainment, gist and movie reviews, Nollywood, Hollywood and all the tatafo in the industry. Make sure you like, share and comment and click on the subscribe button so you get updated and informed whenever I will drop new content and juicy content. So let's get right into it. Latifah, my sister. So, Queen Latifah is a very beautiful movie and produced by WUMI TORIOLA, directed by and Captain Dexy. It is a good one, produced in 2024. So, let's get into the synopsis. So, Queen Latifah is a romance comedy that depicts a young lady in either her late 20s or early 30s, which was not even described in the movie. She was born and raised in the ghetto by a single mother, and she strived hard to make ends meet with her ungenuine lifestyle, commonly referred to as fake life, even though she targeted the rich. As she was not rich, she continued her fake lifestyle and was making waves until she fell in love with a guy she met in one of the shenanigans and fake life, and karma caught up with her and she was forced to change and turn a new leaf. Trust me, Queen Latifah is not a mean. It's been her first project like that. I've said earlier, she tried as much as possible not to make it below par and surpass. She really, personally, she surpassed my expectation, and I feel she could have done better, but it's not a miss as a first timer. So, cast performance, every of my opinions on this video is going to be according to my opinion, definitely. So I feel like most of the cast were not necessary, especially Enoluwa did like 2 scenes, and his scenes could have been done by someone else, maybe one of the passerby or wakapas as they call it. His sin was not genuine. Kiki's sin is still excusable because she played a sacrosanct role like a competitor to her in the same compound that she was, and Brashagi's sin was very, very unnecessary. I feel like she paid these stars to feature in the movie, and as a PR, I feel she should not have rendered them useless. In my opinion, she could have fit them into a better role than bringing them on set to come and do basically what a wakapas person can do. That is my opinion. And I also feel like WUMI was trying to create balance between Yoruba performance and trying to wow the English fans, because I was in the cinema hall and I saw someone who was their first time in the cinema, and I could really see the underwhelming reaction from them, how they expected the normal WUMI that they see in YouTube movies and they couldn't really get that performance from her. I would rather say she ditched them. That's what I would say, because she gave us something different from what she gives us on YouTube, which was not a bad one, because anyone who is been just introduced to WUMI would not see that YouTube part of her. She was rather calm and she was trying to give us the English Nollywood standard, if there's anything like that. Well, Kunle Remi did absolutely what he knows how to do best. A good representation of a rich young guy that is getting it, who came from a good background. There was, in my own opinion, there was nothing spectacular. And it was not a super performance, but it was just a great one that we are used to, and nothing more. Madam Charger did absolutely well. I like the infusion of Madam Charger. A lot of producers wouldn't take the risk of taking the old Yoruba mothers to the cinema to start a face, but I guess it was a good one. She took the right risk. WUMI really took the right risk in bringing her, because it was a break from the normal comedy to the older comedy where Madam Shaya tried to speak English, which I haven't seen in any of the movies, and it was a real laugh for me. I guess it was a good one from the director. Nancy Sime didn't really do much. I think she had like 4 scenes or there, but she killed her role. It was not really a bad one for me. Kiki, I've not always been a fan of Kiki being in movies, but this particular one, she was rather a little bit calm, which which really brought out a good acting skills. If you would ask me, she the rather too loud Kiki and without point and just a shouty Kiki. She was a little bit calm, even though she was ras. She was still ras. She still brought out what they needed her to do, which was a good one for me. I think this is the best performance of Kiki in any of the cinema movies. So let's go down to the strength of this movie. The strength of this movie was not the comedy, was not Wumi's performance, if you would ask me. Although Wumi gave her best, but I feel she could have done better with her English and the intonation. Her intonation really gave her away. I mean, I could hear pure Yoruba in her English, even though she sounded very brilliant. In fact, it requires a very brilliant person to pull what she pulled off with the performance in Queen Latifah. She sounded really, really brilliant, which will make me prefer this movie than to Alakada. Trust me. Like I said, the major strength of this movie is not even the comedy or the whole fake life strength to depict. The major strength and the major key point for me was that she was ailing and commending the youth and the hustlers in Lagos and all around Nigerians and abroad, how they've done well regardless of what they are doing, how they are doing well and they should keep on with the hustle. It is really a good one for me. In fact, I was wild and I was impressed by that. The infusion will not just come on this kind of movies, but she really gave it, and which was the major strength for me. Another strength for me was she infused that luxury life that she was trying to depict, especially the houses, the eco hotel. It requires a lot of stuff to go and shoot in the eco hotel. It requires a lot of stuff to shoot where there are helicopters, where there are big houses, bringing on board different actors, veteran actress, the veteran woman in the movie that I can't remember her name, but she has been in the game for so long. But all of these are not easy tasks, if you would ask me. And if I saw one of her interviews where she said this movie cost her a lot of money and a fortune, and I would definitely agree because most of these things that I was seeing in this movie actually cost a lot. As good as this movie was, as laudable as this movie was, it has its own weakness, and I'm going to be talking about them one after the other. So the very first one is woman intonation. I guess she should have polished her English way better. She sounded very brilliant and intelligent, but I could still hear the Yorubaness in her English, and I couldn't but get distracted. Even while she was sounding serious, and the unseriousness that we are used to on YouTube was still coming off as often as it could be, which is not really a bad one and which is excusable. Another weakness I'm going to talk about is I was completely lost on the first 15 minutes of the into the movie, and I was like, what is going on? What else going on? Although it would come off as development of the movie, but at least something tangible should have been recognized in the movie, because let's say if we are to rate based on the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes into the movie, how good the movie was, I guess this movie would have failed woefully. But at the long run, it catched up because the first scene where she was trying to make the scene at the big supermarket and they had to compensate her, and it was not really adding up for me. Trust me, it was not really adding up. Quote me if I'm wrong. I don't think any supermarket or any big supermarket like ShopRite would compensate anybody or any of their customers because of negligence and hazard, minor hazards. I feel that was not far fetched. Another weakness that I'm going to be talking about is unnecessary scenes. There were so many unnecessary scenes, all in the name of comic relief. The scenes from Latifah and Woos, even though they later got connected, but I feel like it should have been minimal rather than spending a lot of minutes on a scene that was not necessary. That was it for me. One of the biggest thing that was not adding up for me, especially, was when Kunle Remi had to visit her in her own apartment in Ikoyi. A rich man cannot differentiate between a service apartment and an apartment that human lives, even though she hired chefs and security personnel just to make it real. But I feel like someone who is rich and who is exposed will definitely know an ambience of a house that is different from an apartment. It was not really connecting for me. Another thing that was not connecting for me is Queen Latifah lied that she is related to Adele case, and there was something that warrants Kunle Remi as supposed to be boyfriend to reach out to the Adele case. In fact, he had a meeting with the Adele case, and he couldn't mention to them that, okay, I'm in a relationship with your cousin or your niece, and that person should have, I think the secret would have been exposed at that time and not afterwards. I feel it would have made more sense to me if when Nancy, sorry, that was a spoiler, but I'm gonna say it anyways. If when Nancy wanted to expose everything and Kunle was like, I already know when I visited the Adele case, but there was nothing of such, and it was really a worrisome thing for me. So my personal opinion, Queen Latifah is not really a bad one, trust me. Especially for her first project, she did absolutely well, more than some people in the game who have been doing it for like 4 years. No many names are mentioned, but I feel like she really did well, and there's room for more, even though there are a lot of excusable mistakes that could have been avoided. But all the same, it is not a bad one. And I personally recommend. So for our rating, gang, 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 gang. So I don't feel like rating because I really like WUMI TORIOLA, and I really love that she's doing well for herself. But if I'm to rate, I'll rate her 6.5/10. And that's it. So thank you for joining us in this movie review. So like, share, and comment, and click on the subscribe button so you get notified whenever we drop juicy content and new updates. So thank you. See you in the next one.